Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monsters. There's a lot more players to be found on the videos here on the Fantasy Football Show, but I specifically want to talk about these guys right now. Some are bigger than others, although Egbuka was somebody we were on before anybody. We created Emeka Egbuka practically. Don't believe me? Ask around. Ask around. But this guy's climbing, but is he climbing too high? I'll ruin it for you. No, but hang tight. Penix Jr., what a steal in the double-digit rounds. Ollie Gordon also in the double-digit rounds. And not talking about like 10 or 11. We're talking about 13. Charbonnet's climbing, but still 8.11 steal. And this guy right here, Isaac Teslaa, even though he's getting a little more hype, we've been talking about him forever, but he's getting more hype, but he's still at 14 round ADP. So might he climb to 13 with the coming content in the next couple of days and weeks? Yeah, probably, but maybe he doesn't climb outside of like round 12 and he'll still crush leagues and be a wide receiver 3-4 savior at 14, 13, 12 ADP. Let's break it all down. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Let's start off with Teslaa and just say, look, this guy is now the number 3 wide receiver, locked and loaded. It's not a question anymore. And while there's a lot of mouths to feed, he's one of those weirdly efficient players that just finds himself in the end zone and at the forefront of big plays. And I think that this staff is going to look at him as a safety net and mechanism, and his catch radius, his ability to go get a jump ball, his physicality. It puts him in a place where he almost has manufactured touches just for him. And I think that that's going to be something that continues all year. He'll probably be one of those players that he gets less snap share than a lot of people, but he ends up with 40 yards and a touchdown on very many occasions. And I've said this all offseason, he's one of those guys in best ball where you grab him and you're going to get at least 1 or 2 150-yard and a touchdown games. I'm not saying it'll be consistently that way. I'm not saying he'll be a wide receiver 1, 2, or 3. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he will be sporadic, but he'll be crazy efficient and will have in best ball a handful of those very big spike weeks that can help win you a week. So Teslaa to me is a gem, a redraft gem, but especially a dynasty gem, and one of those strangely efficient players that at the end of the day, at the end of the season, we're going, how did he end up with these numbers on that snap share? Make sure he's not available. And keep in mind, he's been sitting on our preemptive waiver wire board literally at the 1 or 2 or 3 spot the entirety of the offseason. And we produced about 3 or 4 of these preemptive waiver wire shows. So we have been talking about him since then. And for some reason, people aren't fully listening because he's got an ADP of, let me show you the ADP board here, of 14.1. 14.1 is where we've got Teslaa coming in at. That no one's listening. No one's listening, but we're here to continue to scream it from the rooftops. Talking about Emeka Egbuka, this is a player that we, like I said, practically created. Because back in January, February, March, people were saying, oh, it's probably going to be Ted McMillan. And yeah, we love Hunter right about the same. And in fact, Buka's probably climbed above Hunter in our group, in our community. But they're still both I almost near identically solid in upside and capability and offense. And the catches will be there. The targets will be there. The touchdown opportunities will be there. Tampa Bay and Jacksonville for Hunter are 2 of the best landing spots these 2 guys could have had. And I've never wavered once. This has been my wide receiver 2 all offseason. He's now the wide receiver 1 for me at this point, but tied pretty much with Travis Hunter. I've never wavered. Those are my top 2 tier break. And then the other guys, wide receivers in 2025 rookie context. But this guy will not only be the number 1 wide receiver, or if he's tied with Hunter, they're both, again, tier break, and then everybody else. He might be a top 10, and I've said this all offseason, a top 10 wide receiver this year. Not extrapolated from week 10 on. He was kind of like, if you look at it, he could have been no, he'll be a top 10 wide receiver this year. He'll be drafted in at least the 2nd round next year. He'll be considered better than Lab McConkey's looked at right now in 2025 context, we'll be looking at Egbuka at a higher valuation in 2026 context. So you can buckle up and get ready. Just know everybody's jumping on this train. Everybody's trying to say that they're on him first or anything like that. They're not, because we've been saying it since January. We've been saying it for longer than that in terms of evaluating him. And we take a look at rookies once in a while throughout the year. And we'll do this in like November, December. But in terms of cranking out nonstop, who are my top 1, 2, 3 wide receiver rankings of the rookies, 1, 2, 3 of the running backs, the quarterbacks, the tight ends, we've never wavered on this amazingly climbing superstar that is now at the 6.1. But let me tell you something. Just like when someone said, I'm not going to buy the Bitcoin now, Sonny boy. It's already at 20K. It won't grow. I missed it already, right? Wrong. Egbuka can climb all the way, as I just said, to top 10 wide receiver value. So this is actually still a monster steal. You're in early at 6.1. Now, fifth round value, it feels a little bit like, man, how do I pay this when I saw him going 7, 8, 9, when Smitty was screaming, draft him, draft him, draft him. He goes at 7, 8, 9 the entire offseason. How do I pay 6.1? You just do. You do. Thank us later. You don't need to, write an apology or anything, but just make sure you grab him so you don't miss out when we celebrate his name every single time we hit this button right here.
In a jam, call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
Emeka Egbuka, double E, E squared, Associates. You don't want to miss out on us pressing this button all off season long. It's going to depress the hell out of you. So make sure you have at least one share of Egbuka. Now, this guy right here, and Michael Penix Jr., probably my favorite later quarterback. You miss out on quarterbacks, you go get him. Gunslinger, cannon attached to the arm, amazing offense, top 5 offense, top 5 arm, gunslinger in chief. I said he'd be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, even coming off of the national championship game. And people are like, but people say, Smitty, that he's not going to even be a first round grade player. Attention, he's not even going to be drafted in the first round. He's not a first round grade player, Smitty. I just don't see the talent. Gunslinger in chief, throwing to London, turning London into a top 5 wide receiver, turning Bijan into a top 4 or 3 or 2, maybe number 1 receiving running back in the National Football League. This guy's going to throw for 4,000 plus yards, 34 plus touchdowns. It's going to be glorious, and he's a fantastic, quiet QB1. You might want to couple him with Dak or maybe a Kyler or somebody so you have a rotation of sorts. I think Bo Nix and Penix Jr. are my favorite, and Bo Nix I've ranked even higher, but I love Penix Jr. And he gives you the ability to trade your quarterback. If you go Penix Jr. as your QB2 and he goes ballistic, you can go, well, I got an injury to my wide receiver. Let me send my quarterback packing. He's going to go crazy. Ollie Gordon, we talk about Ollie Gordon constantly, and this is another player that's on the Moon Man list, as is Teslaa, who is now added
loads in outer space
to the Moon Man list. Teslaa's on the Moon Man list. Gordon's on the Moon Man list. Our next guy we're going to talk about, Charbonnet's on the Moon Man list.
Space Moon
we love Penix Jr.'s on the Moon Man list. So this is kind of a Moon Man video, if you will. Teslaa's a monster. Just an absolute, look at that hair. Teslaa's a monster. He might be related to the Lionheart. We might have to amend that video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll find out. Gordon is a machine. 10, 12, 13, 14 touchdown capable guy, even if Achane plays every single game. Because Mostert did it. That's how Achane's most effective. This doesn't hurt Achane's evaluation at all. In fact, it helps it. This is when Achane averages 7.8 yards per carry instead of 5. When he's got a bruiser up the gut, taking all those brutal carries, he gets to do all the pop work to the outside and rip off that 7.8 efficiency. This guy's going to get 10, 12 touchdowns. He's going to do it live. And anybody that drafts him might have themselves a running back 3, a flex play, an amazing player. And that's without any sort of injury to Achane. But if Achane did, knock on wood, get abducted safely by aliens and get returned to us at the end of the year, safe and sound, he would climb into the top 10 running backs with ease. With ease, he would explode. He is already going to explode, but he would double, triple, quadruple explode, triple stamp, a double stamp if this guy gets in there. Okay, so just know that he comes with that upside of if he gets in there, he explodes, and he comes with the floor of I'm going to get you flex value no matter what, and maybe get you a touchdown every game I play. That's the kind of value he kind of has. I'm not saying he gets 17 scores. I'm just saying he has that kind of upside. It may be a 5-game stretch of him scoring 7 touchdowns. It's that kind of dude. Charbonnet, love him. League winner, top 5 running back. He proved it when he was playing last year in 5 games without Kenneth Walker. He proved that he was a 2 running back. Because if you take his green lit, I've got these 2 guys overlaid. The green lit overlay to the right here is the Charbonnet games, okay? And then when we put Kenneth Walker's games back on, you can see the difference, right? And if you take these 5 green lit games that are belonging to Charbonnet and you extrapolate those 5 games across an entire season, this is running back 2 production and barely behind running back 1. I'm not saying you can use that math. It's crazy math to use. It's not a big sample, but it is a sample enough to say he is a monster. And while we let Kenneth Walker, he can't stay healthy, and this new regime might just be like, you know what, let's run it with Charbonnet. Let's trade Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker's a big-time trade candidate at some point this year. Could happen early, could happen later. Hard to know, but I just know that this guy right here is a monster. And he's a top 5 running back league winner if you let him marinate on the bench a little bit. And we might even get word right before week 1 that he's going to get the start or something, and his value will skyrocket. So make sure you're in on the Sharpster right now before that could maybe change on you. So if you're drafting, make sure you have him, because guess what? His ADP is insane at 8.1. League winning. He's already getting at least 50% of the work in my mind. So this right here is baked in. This is what you're buying. You're buying him at 50-50. You're buying him at a 50% workload right here. And if he gets in, just like we're talking about Gordon, if he gets in there, he completely annihilates everybody. These guys, and Rashi Rice, I haven't gone over Rice. I haven't gone over Deebo yet. I'll just say this. I'll pull them on screen real quickly and just say that Rice is dropping because of the suspension. He'll be out the first 6 weeks of the year. And it's causing a lot of panic, and it makes for just a better value. Like at the end of the day, while I love Rice playing, not out 6 games, this might sound counterintuitive, but I like Rice better now playing less games because he costs me a lot less to get. So I can scoop up other players, and this is probably the most value he's ever had. It's a weird way to look at it, but you got to step back and realize that's really the reality of the situation. So if you're getting him at round 7 in your grandma league, you're literally getting a top 5 wide receiver. And if you think about it, unless you play total points, which still doesn't really matter to me because I'm still going to supplement perfectly in my mind. I'll get Teslaa. I'll get other guys to step up, right? Deebo. Usually I have Rice and I have someone like Egbuka or Deebo to step up. I really sometimes struggle with what am I going to do when Rice is back? That's how much depth we've been accumulating on this show and with the talent that we talk about all the time. But Rice, I'll say this. Rice, if you're 3-1 and you're like marching along, and then all of a sudden you're 4-2 and you're walking out of the week 6 contest going, I'm 4-2. It didn't even matter. I'm 4-2 and I get Rice back and he's a top 5 wide receiver go forward. You've got to think bigger picture. Now, you could start off 0-6, but that's your bad drafting. If you're drafting well, if you're drafting guys that we're talking about, you're going to be 4-2, you're going to be 5-1, you're going to be 6-0, and then none of it matters. And every week that goes by, he'll be more valuable if you needed to trade out of it. Rice is a phenom. He's going to be a conglomerate. He's going to be a league winner. And this guy we love so much on the channel, and the world seems to hate him, if at least the Niner world and people related to it. Deebo and Rice, again, 6.2 and falling. 6.2, he'll probably go around 7 in Grandma League, 6.2 in Best Ball. So this will fluctuate. Teslaa 14.1, Buka 6.1, Deebo 6.6. He's climbing a little bit because of the Rice news. Other receivers are moving around, but this is still your 6th drafted player win a league material. Your problem is, can you get Buka and Deebo and Rice in the same on the same team anymore, it's hard unless he falls Rice to round 7. But Deebo's going to catch the world on fire. He's in some of the best shape he's ever been in, despite what people try and feed you. And he's built rapport up while McLaurin's been sitting out. So that's been great for him. Not great for McLaurin, but might be okay for McLaurin at the end of the day. A little bit more injury risk, but he might, weather through it. But Deebo couldn't have benefited more than with the way the situation handed him the opportunities. And Deebo's going to go to the moon. And if you say he doesn't get off the line quickly, he can't get open, you're repeating what you hear. That's all you're doing. This guy is a monster. This guy proved time and time again, season after season, he is him. And even if you look at last year and you start running your mouth because someone told you it and you're repeating it, he was number 3 last year in yards after contact. He was number 7 last year in broken tackles. And this number 30 sticks out like a sore thumb because the team didn't put him in a good position. And he was banged up, but the team didn't put him in a good position to actually show good production. But he was doing his job to the best of his ability. And the Washington Commander offense with JD5 keeping the defense honest as they try and spy him is going to put this man in scoring position in opportunistic positions where he's never had more room in his life because JD5's keeping the defensive attention on him. This guy's going to slip around all over the field, and we're going to be here for it. The Fantasy Football Show is here for you Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm live whenever big news breaks, and I'm live pretty much every midnight drafting with you on Underdog, promo code Smitty. If you want to be ready to draft with us, make sure you hit this link in the description or use code Smitty, but the link's in the description of every video I have. Code Smitty will get it done. Do it live. See you all on the next show. Appreciate you.